Israel. Ambassador Danon joins me live now. Ambassador, we do have some breaking news I just want to bring to you. Moments ago, and we just got this video in from Tenafly, New Jersey, the former hostage, the Israeli-American hostage, Danon Alexander, was just arriving home. He, of course, had spent so many months in captivity, and here you see this video. Of course, President Trump was very instrumental in getting him released. We know there are still Israeli and other hostages, both alive and perished, in Gaza at the moment. But on a day like today, with the crowds cheering, what goes through your mind about Danon Alexander?
Well, it's a very emotional moment for all of us, Liz. I remember hosting the parents of Danon at the United Nations, and I told them we will do everything we can to bring him home. And we see that miracle is back, but we have to remember, we still have 53 hostages in captivity. Their families are still waiting, and we are committed to bring them back. Now, because we are in a war with Iran, people tend to forget about the hostages, but we will never forget them. We will bring them back home.
Danny, let's talk very specifically about what's happening right now diplomatically. President Trump just said through his White House press secretary that he will decide within, quote, 2 weeks as to whether the United States gets involved directly in this conflict. If we had to guess, we're thinking about possibly the U.S. allowing Israel to use the bunker buster bomb, which, of course, is the bomb that can hit and then, in its second form, go underground and destroy the underground uranium enrichment plants in Iran. As we look at how it works, comes in on the B-2 Spirit stealth bomber, deploys the GBU. That, of course, is the bunker buster. 2 separate bombs are dropped. The first one makes a hole in the ground, and then the second one goes right through that hole and can penetrate up to 200 feet below surface. Is that enough? We are hearing that the Iranians could have dug a much deeper hole and have their operations way lower than that.
So, Liz, exactly 1 week ago, this time, we started the operation, and look where we are today. We were able to push back Iran within a week to a position nobody imagined. So we are very proud of the achievements of our pilots, our intelligence, but still we have a lot more to do. And as you described, Iran prepared for those moments. They built facilities under the ground, but we are determined. We decided to take their words and to believe them when they say they want to annihilate us and to destroy us. We take them seriously. And that's why we decided to take preemptive attack. Now, the U.S. will have to decide for themselves what they are doing, how they are doing it. But when you look at what's coming out from Tehran, the chance against the U.S., the threats to assassinate President Trump, and the attacks against U.S. troops all over the Middle East, Americans should know that Iran is not only an Israeli problem. It's a problem for all democracies. This regime is a radical regime that wants to dominate the world, and we should not allow it.
Texas Senator Ted Cruz said, basically, and he broke it down, and he said, Ayatollah Khamenei, the supreme leader. So we're talking about the leadership here, not the people of Iran. He called him a theocratic lunatic. The Iranian leadership has been just a mess for the whole world when it comes to arming terrorist organizations like Hezbollah, like Hamas, like the Houthis. So where do they stand if that regime is toppled?
So you made a very important distinction, Liz. We have nothing against the Iranian people. On the contrary, we love them. We pray for them. We know that they are the ones who suffer the most from this horrible regime. And we hope that they will see some change and there will be better days for the Iranian people. That's why we focused our attacks against military targets, against the regime forces, and we are very successful. And it's up to them to decide what they are doing. But I think they deserve a much better future, a real leadership, and not a leadership that takes all the funds of Iran and use it to build nuclear bombs and spend billions on proxies.
Iran just struck the largest hospital in southern Israel. I need to know your thoughts on this. Of course, the Prime Minister, Bibi Netanyahu, has gone down to visit that area, and at least for the moment, and correct me if I'm wrong, nobody died. There are dozens and dozens injured. But does Israel want the United States involved? And Does it matter? Either way, look how far Israel has gotten in gaining aerial superiority over Iran and figuring out how to damage most of their ballistic, well, at least a good 2/3 of the ballistic missile launchers. So give me a sense of where Israel stands about having the U.S. get involved.
Well, first, the attack on the hospital, it was a clear violation of international law. You know, they targeted a hospital. It wasn't a mistake. And that's what they're doing for the last week. They target civilian population where we target military sites. That's whom we are dealing with. Just imagine if, God forbid, they will have nuclear capability, what they would do with that. And that's why we are determined not to allow it. Now, the U.S. should decide when and how they want to be involved and if they want to be involved. But you can imagine, you know, the capabilities of the U.S. are much stronger than Israel. It will take much longer for us to remove the threat. You know, when you look at the size of Israel, it's 9 million people compared to 90 million Iranians. The size of Iran is 80 times bigger than Israel. So it's not easy for us also to get there. It takes a few hours for our planes to get there and they have to refuel coming back. It's challenging, but we are doing it and we are committed to finish the job.
Ambassador, my team is saying quick wrap. We have another guest coming, but I do have to ask you, if the Iranian regime topples, do you think Saudi Arabia will join the Abraham Accords and recognize Israel?
Well, I believe it will happen. I don't know when and how. I'm sure it will happen. We are very proud of the Abraham Accords. And I think many other countries in the region will join us very soon.
Ambassador Danon of Israel, thank you very much.